Feds say they have a video of Combs assaulting a male worker on camera at his house. Had this gentleman, who my client, on a leash, and he's with and they walking around in the living room.
So my name is Big Homie.cc. I'm a celebrity bodyguard, entrepreneur. I had a rap career. I played. I still do rap shows from time to time. So being a, and then I work. I can do Excel and stuff like that. So my position.
You're a college graduate, so you can. Yeah.
Right. So and that's another thing that people. I'm a college graduate. I'm educated. You feel me? I'm cultured. I'm a spelling bee champion. I don't want oratory contests. Debate team champion, stuff like that. But at the same time, though, I was born into the underworld. You feel me? Like, my family has certain affiliations to the Insane Gangster Disciples. My uncle is a high-ranking member. He got his fingers broke for being insane in the county jail. So,
Is it saying, like, did they branch off? I guess it's a whole separate thing. Or were they not doing what Hoover? Were they like kind of renegade?
Yes, renegade. I pretty much have to tell the homies, like, look, we got to get on a more honorable path. If not, we're going to follow down the same path that our predecessors did. And, I made it very clear to my homies that, because, the ladies would always know that, yeah, I'm a bodyguard to the stars. They'll see me with Tayana Taylor. They'll see me with Judy from the Bad Girls Club. They'll see me with Beth. Beth is a famous model. She's a foreign model. When she was signed to Gucci, I was with her every day. So I would tell my friends, like, look, if y'all fight y'all girlfriend and they call me, I'm gonna come over there and then you gotta fight me. And they got tired of that. They got tired of that. Well, I'm 6'6".
You mean your own friends?
My own friends. Guys like I said, my brothers. I'm 6'6", but I'm 400 pounds. There's no such thing as tough. It's either trained or untrained. I'm highly trained. So, you get your ass kicked a few times. Like, all right, let me start having a different perspective on this. And it worked. It worked. I've been able to lead a group on a more honorable path. And that's what kept me safe because, I always say, in order for a man to combat evil, he must be able to enact evil. It's got to be in your toolbox. If you don't have it in your toolbox, then my boy, it's going to be an uphill battle for you. You probably won't succeed.
Might not make it.
Might not make it. I've seen my own blood. I've been doing a bodyguard work for the last 17 years. This is year 17. And at first, it just started by getting hired by, the local guys in the neighborhood. You feel me?
Those street people?
Yeah, street people. You feel me? I'm from the streets,
You're from the south side of Chicago, right?
South side of Chicago. You feel me? I'm from the streets. But, I always took my education very seriously. I got a good family. My mom she got 2 master's degrees. She's a professor. Shout out to moms. I got I was raised by strong ladies in my family. Most of the men are doing life in prison.
But you had a chance to see women. It's funny hearing there's so much negative talk about women online that people are benefiting from.
What we watching happen is same-sex loving men establish large social media platforms, and then they target certain ladies who really
bring in men.
Right. And then they really don't have the mental aptitude to be able to go back and forth with the people on the platforms that they're getting invited to. Because, you don't see these guys bringing on ladies who have the proper gumption and awareness to be able to adequately respond to the things they're being pressed about.
But there's so many people now who are willing to, if I get attention, I'm willing to be degraded. So either I got to degrade you or you're going to degrade me, but we're going to get views, and that's all that matters because somehow it'll magically lead to this thing called the bag, whatever that even is.
You just put it as eloquently as possible because that's exactly what's going on. So what happens is I deviated from doing security for rappers and fashion people simply because they don't look at people as people. They look at them as objects.
Yes. Because they
And
sort of see themselves as an object to some extent, right?
right, and they see themselves as an object of opportunity for people, so therefore they take advantage because in the fashion world, the entertainment, hip hop world, this is the only world where we see people have interns for 2 years, 3 years. You got somebody working for you for 3 years for free for the thought they're going to have a big
The
career.
parallels between entertainment and pimping and hoeing are so strong, it can't be overstated.
Yes. So they go hand in hand. Morally, I have a younger sister. And my younger sister, she was a model. She's been a published model in several areas. And I always wanted people to know that, this lady is accounted for. Because over the
You
holiday,
would go make your presence known, like there's somebody who's waiting on her to come home.
there's been times I've showed up to photo shoots unannounced, and I've seen people highly uncomfortable. Because now they know, like, oh, damn, this big motherfucker, this big guy's here, and certain things we're not going to be able to do. So, over the holidays, my sister stood up, my little cousins, they say, nothing ever happened to us. Everybody was afraid of Keith. And it was like, to me, that's a big accomplishment because just like I know. So what's happening is we're watching these guys, they're not calling up ladies who mentally can match them. They calling up young ladies in the TikTok era, and they taking advantage of that. So, I've reached out to like the guy Myron. You feel me? I reached out to him from Fresh and Fit. He's dodging me. You feel me? Because
or to check him about how he talks about women to a degree, or at least talk to him about it.
I wanted to sit in front of him and give him a lesson about etiquette, simply because, where are we as a society when you got a man who was in a relationship with another man before, and he's online criticizing a young guy named Kai Cenat, who's the biggest streamer alive right now.
Who is it? Who were you talking about?
So the guy Myron Gaines from Fresh and Fit.
Wait, Myron has been in a relationship with another man?
He was in a relationship with another man before. Yeah. He dated men before, and I got footage.
Is it the tall, slim one or the short, stocky one?
The tall, slim, brown-skinned gentleman who formerly
the federal agent.
Yeah. I got footage of this guy with a man.
Who was the black guy that died?
Kevin Samuels.
Kevin Samuels. Basically, if you listen to his advice, it was like how to dress up and look handsome for the prostitutes you pay. So it's kind of a...
and I also seen that. I've seen that gentleman before at an event.
He seems like he was into men. Is that...
Yeah, that's a fact. I've seen him at an event. So, what people don't know is in most popular gentlemen's clubs, strip clubs, one night a week they have a male review show. And on that night, all the dancers and performers are male performers. I happened to be with a lady that on a particular night.
Oh, you had to do a security job.
Yeah, I'm working with a lady at a bachelorette party. I happen to be at one of these events, and who do I see there? I see the guy, Kevin Samuels there.
What city was this in?
This is in Florida.
Doesn't surprise me. He definitely, the way he was able to talk to women, there was that gay pimp vibe.
You know what's going on, bro. And what I always say is, men that operate underneath the rainbow, their fashion sense is a lot different than ours. So, you talking to somebody throughout my career, I've worked the front door at nightclubs, I've been a profiler at clubs, I've been...
Me too.
Yeah. So we didn't check a lot of IDs. We can look at people and understand, like, okay, this is the type of person this is. So we would have a competitive advantage over the average person. So as I'm seeing this, it's like, okay, eventually I know along my path, I'm going to have to, sit in front of some of these people, and like my inbox is getting flooded. Can you talk to him? Can you talk to him? I've been reaching out because there has to be a certain level of moral compass and etiquette
that is exercised on the internet. The Fresh and Fit podcast got demonetized. And this is why a lot of Instagram influencers who did crypto coin pools are no longer on Instagram. Because there is a certain level of censorship.
Fraudsters.
You're straight fraudsters. And it's like, before I did my first interview with Cam Capone, I sent him a list of receipts. And I sent him a list of credentials about myself. So when he saw that, he called me. He said, "Bro, this is a layup." Like, most people when they come, they don't have this information. So
That's why I don't interview many people, because it's irresponsible to let just anybody talk in public. And if I'm not gonna, either if I don't know who you are, that I can tell, or I know you through somebody, I'm not about to spend my life verifying interview subjects, right? I don't want to do that. I'd rather just look up the information and tell the story myself. It's easier. But to just let anybody talk, and a lot of these big platforms are very irresponsible, and they let people, like when the whole credit, black
Oh my God, bro.
generational wealth, which is fine, but they let people come on and like tell you things that are felonies. Like, oh, get a an aged credit line, and well, that's a felony. That's fraud. That's wire fraud.
they're literally giving people instructions on how to catch fraud cases. And to me, that's egregious. It's asinine.
Egregious. It's egregious. It's highly inappropriate.
It's egregious. So it's kind of like, I kind of been on a little bit of crusade to restore some sort of order, just a little bit, because something has to happen, bro. Okay, so my very first interview that I did is at 1,000,000 views right now. I spoke about things that I saw being a bodyguard for other people. So I seen the guy Busta Rhymes,
Zest Monster.
super zest monster, man. I seen him. I ended up at some of Combs' events.
In a predatory way. Here's the thing, though. I do want to just say for record, people are free to do whatever. What I guess what we have the problem with is the predatory component, and in the entertainment industry.
And this is why I stopped working with singers, rappers, all of those type of people, because first and foremost, what I do professionally, what people do in their bedroom is their business. People should be able to love whoever they want to love without it being a problem. Right. It becomes a problem when now you're trying to coerce and trick people into your lifestyle by enticing them with something that they deem valuable. Are you familiar with somebody named Sydney Starr?
Yes.
I have drugged this person off tour buses, out of hotel rooms several times, simply because she will say this: "Oh, I don't like gay dudes. I like straight dudes."
But he's a man that's a what, right? That's
Sydney Starr is a man. Yeah.
right.
And I never mistreated this person.
As they say on the escort sites, he's fully functional.
So, recently she had conversion surgery, and the guy Eddie Winslow paid for it.
Oh no, that's you have to call it no. You're not supposed to call it conversion. It's confirmation surgery.
Confirmation surgery.
No, they changed it to, instead of a coming out, you're confirming what your gender was supposed to have been, but the universe made a mistake and attached something that wasn't supposed to be there.
She showed me messages in her phone from police officers, like all straight dudes, gangsters who, she spends time with. So it's kind of like
let me, because I talk about this with some of my gangster friends, and we talk about how actually disturbed the street life really is. Right. So that life of being in drug houses and drug addicts, and a lot of us, you might grow up to be a tough guy, but a lot of weird stuff happens, and a lot of the gangsters and a lot of tough guys, not most, but more than a few, right, they grew up in these drug house environments, and their mother, and a lot of these guys would say, my mother was a hoe, my father was a pimp, or my mother was a drug addict, and my father was a drug dealer, and we moved from house to house. Well, those are exactly the kind of kids that get targeted, unfortunately.
Absolutely.
And police, I can imagine police officers who might be into that whole power dynamic, and You know,
It's a power trip. It's a power trip.
it's nothing more than the money that you're getting paid.
And whenever I have caught a millionaire, billionaire guy in a precarious situation, I can tell you right now, I know a guy. When I was in security, he was down to the casino 500 grand
In Vegas?
in Vegas. So we get back up to his hotel room and he says, listen, come back in about 2 hours. I said, all right, cool.
But you're in security.
I'm in
Whenever
security.
you get rid of your security.
I said, so wait a second, you want me to leave and come back in 2 hours? So I said, cool. I go downstairs to the lobby, but I had forgot. I keep a little bag with me, a little cosmetic bag with my chapstick, little things I need.
Yeah.
I forget that. So I get back on the elevator, I go upstairs, and he forgot he gave me the key card for the penthouse. So I didn't have to call him to let me up. I put the key on put the
You
card.
accidentally see something you didn't want to see?
I walk in, man. This guy is on all fours, look like an apple or something in his mouth. So I seen I seen a trans individual that was topless but had on bottoms. Had this gentleman who my client on a leash, and he's and they walking around in the living room. So freshman year of college, I was a theology major. Then I changed
For
it.
those out there, because people are so uneducated, theology is the study of religion.
Yes. So after that, I feel like I learned what I need to learn, and I changed my major to psychology. Psychology taught me a lot of things about the human brain. And what I realized was all of the guys that I did security for that were wealthy, had been wealthy a long time, and their job, they pretty much told people what to do all day.
So they wanted a reversal.
Yes, they wanted to. And this is the first time I'm talking to somebody who understands what's going on.
Well, there's been a lot of literature about that. I mean, there's been plenty of research on that. Because if you're already powerful.
Yes. Right. And the dynamic is like this. This same gentleman, he has a very, very expensive yacht. And his yacht has a full staff. These people, there's two parts of the staff. One part stays for 6 months, the other part stays for 6 months. So basically, he's used to buying people. So while we are in the casino gambling, there's still a staff on his boat
Getting a weekly paycheck, even though he's not there.
And then they're not used to being told no. So if no one tells them no, they can purchase whatever they want. These are people that are purveyors of things explicit. And if it goes unchecked, it can become dangerous. The feds say they have a video of Combs sexually assaulting a male worker on camera at his house. The News Nation hits me up to do an interview. I said, for me to do the interview, I got to be compensated in some way, and you must denounce human trafficking. They refuse. They said, look, it's a big opportunity for you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is about 2 months ago. I turned the interview down, and they know about what I told them about Ray J, Combs, and F. Gary Gray. I turned the interview down. Instead of using me, they go get Ray J. Ray J is on some of those tapes. What is Ray J famous for? The campaign.
Kim Kardashian.
That's what he's famous for.
Because I don't know any of his songs.
So after that, the revenge porn laws get passed. So now you can't just sell nobody's sex tape no more. So I asked News Nation, I say, why would y'all go get somebody that y'all know parties with Combs after I told you I'm turning the interview down? There's an act of conspiracy going on. They work together. He was being protected. Homeland Security raided Combs' house. They did not tell raiding officers whose house they were raiding. Guys getting protected. And,
who have you rescued? Tell us about, I'll let you go, but tell us one good story about recently some a young person you've gotten out of being trafficked?
So recently, a gentleman comes to us. His daughter had been missing 2 years.
2 years.
He was a guy who worked at the oil derrick.
Oh, down in Texas.
Yeah, down in Texas, worked at oil derrick. Single father. He be going out the house 12, 14 hours a day. So he had an iPad where his daughter's iMessages will also show up on the iPad and her phone. He comes home one day, she's gone. He checks the iPad.
Which is like Houston. Houston's a big hotbed for trafficking, right?
This is in Dallas.
Okay. But that whole area.
The whole area, because it's so close to the border. He checks the iPad, sees that somebody called her Uber. She's in a relationship with somebody.
And how old was she at the time?
At the time, she was 17. This ain't a cheap service.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's got to add up, because if it's a couple of you and you got to be getting 100 an hour plus like it can really add up fast.
Not a cheap service. So I got the video where him and I we first encountered him. We did our threat assessment. We searched him for a wire. We were able to track down her location, and we were able to bring her home. Now,
what state was she still in? Texas, or?
So they trafficked her from Oregon down to Texas.
Oh,
right. So
she did get. She was forced to.
We found her. So we did a reverse image search. Found a photo of her on a dating site.
An escort or a regular dating?
Found her on Tinder, and when we got there, she didn't even want to leave. She was convinced that what she was doing was gonna make her a big star. They put on.
You think she was probably drugs?
She was on the autism spectrum.
Oh, a lot of those. I noticed that a lot of those girls, they're either totally broken, like they've been abused, they're desperate, like they're homeless, or a lot of them are slow/autistic.
She didn't believe she was beautiful. They convinced her she was beautiful. She thought she was going to go be a big model, and no,
their emotions are so weak. Anyways, they can do stuff that you would think would freak them out, but they're not really much there, anyways.
And then she was in love with the guy. He had been talking to her on the phone on the app. He befriended her on TikTok. Yeah, she was in love with this guy. She thought it was her boyfriend, etc., etc. I see this story over and over and over.
So when you found her, she's 19. She didn't have to return. Like what? So what happened?
She seen her dad, broke down crying.
She's had sex with hundreds of people in this meantime.
Absolutely. So the thing is, the process is called a retrieval, and the second process is called the unite. So once we unite them with their family, we're done. We're gone. We out of there.
That's you don't know what, right?
We get out of there because it's like, we did our part.
Some of those girls go back, right?
There have been people who paid us to go do retrievals after we did one already.
Wow. If you don't give a kid enough attention, just that alone will drive them into the arms of strangers. More than anything.
Lack of attention, lack of supervision, and what I found out was a lot of these people are mentally unhinged.
Do you mean the trafficking victims or everybody?
The victims are mentally.
They're mentally so they're easy to manipulate.
Absolutely. Because when we get our hands on one of these weirdos' phones, we see several failed opportunities.
Oh, so they're always working. Are these guys that do that? Are they pimps? Are they doing it for their own gratification or kind of?
No, that's a good question. Now, when I first started this, the lookouts would be dangerous guys. The people on the phone,
they aren't like hardcore criminals that someone.
Yeah, they'd be hardcore. And it would be,
So you're talking about 12 years ago or something, like with the Lambo guy.
But these guys making so much money, they get lazy. So over the last 6 years, we'll show up to a place and the lookout is a fucking meth head sleep in the car. Or they got another sex worker lady trying to overlook the over operation. So we able to
Is this growing? It seems like the paid asexual stuff, whether with adults, kid, whatever, seems to be really growing. Or we just see it more because of social media, or do you think it's getting worse?
Once OnlyFans came around, it exploded.
There seems to be a whole demographic of younger men and women, because I hear some of these young guys from the hood talk, and it's like every asexual encounter they're having, there's like a fight. It's like everything's supposed to be a paid encounter.
Transactional.
Like the rappers rapping about, I share women with my homeboy. That is so weird. That never sounded appealing to me.
It's all hedonism.
When you get done with her, CC, let's send her over to my room. Like, that does not sound appealing.
Yeah, if it's like, like the lady I love, the fastest way to get a debilitating injury is to try to do something crazy to her.
Yeah.
So,
as opposed to you wanting to send her over to your buddy's room, which is weird.
Weird. Like I said, it all boiled down to zest monster activity. Cause why do you want
another man?
Why?
And kind of like a pimp, like, because a lot of those pimps, they get their first trick. I mean, their first prostitute is their baby mom or their girlfriend. So this woman's going out and coming back and laying with you.
In my line of work, we call this the 5 observables: opulence, availability, money, intangibles, and unaccounted for. If you see those 5 observables, that's the perfect setup for human trafficking. Because I can tell you several times, we'll get a pimp's phone, and in that pimp's phone, you'll see pictures of him selling pictures of his own ass cheeks, man. Because every true pimp will sell himself if he doesn't have...
Sell himself, right.